got the Texas Fan Better Podcast. Jim Bridge, Fifth Ward Crenshaw. You know the best out there. Keno, Bo Diggity 713. To all my Texans, Texas Nation. If you feeling good, I want you to throw them H's up high. Yeah, like that. I see you. Let's swarm. Yeah, Houston, Texas, born and raised. Yeah, that's where I'm from. The best city in the state. Yeah, we stay turned up. There's excitement in the air for the Houston Texans. Yes, we swarming all year, causing havoc, we wrecking. Coming off that edge, we got 5-5-5-1. Team on the outside, locking down your number one. All about the swarm mentality. And the H standing on business is the way we operate. I rep that 7 like CJ, that 1 like Diggs, that 3 like Dell. H-time we doing it big, you know that 12 out here, and don't you never forget, better pick your poison, cause we got Joe in the midst. We rock that battle red, still blue, Liberty white, H-time blue, drip galore, man, we so fresh, fire like the field. Shout out to the whole squad, chasing greatness, eyes on the prize, one goal, it's time to take it. Let's get it. Throw them H's up, throw them H's up, now you throw them H's up, throw them H's up, we throw them H's up, throw them H's up, let's show love for them Texans, cause them Bulls about to perform. Throw them H's up, throw them H's up, now you throw them H's up, throw them H's up, we throw them H's up, throw them H's up, let's show love for them Texans, cause them Bulls.
Hello, and welcome back to the Texans Fan Battle Podcast, brought to you by Fan Battle Sports. I'm your host tonight, Matthew Briggs, and guys, we got a special guest in the building tonight. But before I introduce him, let me take you off to my team swarm. First off, we got the man with the message. We got Mr. Keno.
What's good, everybody? Hope everybody's feeling good, man.
And second off, we got the T-man himself. We got Texans T.
What's the deal? What's the deal, man? Go Texans, A-Sign, let's go.
And we got H-Town's own Mr. Honcho himself. And Crenshaw must be dealing with some technical difficulty. Here he is right here. And as always, we got Mr. Fifth Ward Crenshaw. What's up, buddy?
What's up, everybody?
Now, guys, if you're a Texans fan and you also love comedy, you know this guy very well because On the Nose was great content before all this podcast stuff happened. We have Mr. Shaun Cody himself. What's going on, Shaun?
What's up, fellas? Glad to be you guys. Thanks for having me on the podcast.
What's going on, Texas fans?
Yeah,
It's gonna be
man.
a good one tonight.
Yeah, let's have some fun.
Yes, sir. Well, let's kick it off. This last season was kind of interesting. What was your thought on the Texans season that just happened?
I'm a big fan of D'Amico Ryans. Obviously, getting a chance to play with D'Amico with the Texans and having him come back in his second year here. So super proud of what he's been able to do in a short term with the Texans and in the second season. Obviously, offense didn't probably click like you wanted this year, but defensively, lights out. Watching that Will Anderson Jr. come off the edge is exciting as a defensive lineman. So whenever you can see that defense hunt, they've done a good job on that side of the ball. Maybe got to get some things figured out offensively, but I really believe in D'Amico Ryans as a leader of men and as a captain. Being able to play with him, I can I can speak highly of him because he was that same guy on the field, that same leader that you guys like tend to follow and get behind.
Okay. So, the year before they finished 10-6 or 10-7. Sorry, I keep forgetting the extra game. And then this year, 10-7. A lot of Texans fans believe that this was a bust. What's your thoughts on that as a former player?
I don't look at it as a bust. You make the playoffs, and obviously you want to go further, and you got a young quarterback who's, I think, still trying to figure out what are his strengths to his game. He's obviously a talented player. He's got the size, the strength, the speed, and the arms. But just in his second year, he's got to figure out what he kind of things he can still do. What are his his high points in his game? What are things he's got to work on? So you're there with that quarterback and his defense. They made strides. I think you're always going to be upset when you don't finish on top and win the whole thing, and then when you got a talented team. But I don't look at it as an off season. I'm sure D'Amico's going to go back to the drawing board and figure out things and ways they can get stronger. And I'm sure that, some of that stuff is offensively and what they can do. And but I don't look at it. I was able to play on some bad Texan teams and some good Texans teams. And even if you had a tough year, you knew going into that next year that you had a chance to have a great year. So it's always that offseason is going to be big. What they do in the draft is going to be big. How they try to address some of those changes is going to be big. So it's a lot of things go into whether or not you have a great season. But I'm sure D'Amico's looking at all those things.
And we know you follow USC, so you see some great quarterbacks like Cave Williams. What do you see out of CJ Stroud watching him throw the ball around?
Well, first off, he's huge. I was really I think last year I went down to Houston. I caught a game and got to see him in person. I was just amazed by his size and the way he can move at that size. It's definitely an aspect of football you need to have is that ability to move. He's definitely got that. He's definitely got the arm strength. He can definitely make the throws you want. I think it's just growing as a quarterback. Growing, like I said, it's going to be him figuring out his weaknesses. Because, as a defender in the NFL, teams are always going to be trying to search and figure out, after his first year, how do we attack this kid? How do we get after him? What is he uncomfortable doing? And and if there's aspects of the game they have weaknesses, NFL teams are going to find them. So it's on him to figure out where he can get stronger. And so it's offensive coordinators to figure out how they can utilize him better and make him better in different aspects of his game. But as a defender in the NFL, they're always trying to find what you don't do well, and they're going to attack that aspect. So he's got to definitely in the coming into his third year, got to make some growth and figure out, and that's up to the coaches and him to figure that out.
So, do you believe in all that sophomore slump, or you just think it's growing pain?
I don't know. I don't know if it could happen in year 3 or 4. I think it's probably good. It happens in year 2. It's early in his career, so not that it was just a terrible year, but obviously, like I said, defense has figured out how they wanted to attack him. Now it's his job to say, all right, this is how aspects I want to get better in. So it's going to be on him, and I think it's better that it happens early in your career that you can understand it and figure out what defenses are trying to do to you, and as opposed to maybe this happens in year 3 or 4, and then he's a little couple of years behind the development phase. Now he's right in his prime right there to get that thing going in the right direction and figure out like what kind of quarterback he wants to be in the NFL.
Most definitely. Before we talk a little bit more about defensive tackles and about your career, Keno, Crenshaw, anybody got any questions for Shaun about the season for the Texans?
Well, this Crenshaw here. I think we're a defensive tackle away from being a really great elite defense. Is there anybody on USC that we don't know about that you could give us, a little eye on to keep eye on this guy?
Yeah, defensive tackle, probably not. We got I think some young players that are getting into the system now that down the line here will probably be some key, contributors into the NFL aspect. Right now, I mean, that's a different, really maybe a off topic here. I cover USC football. I do the radio for them now, so I enjoy watching the team. But they got some aspects of their game they got to work on too as well. And defensively, it's figuring out some. They didn't have create enough havoc, enough pressure in the backfield with their defensive line. So this offseason for USC has been about really trying to build that defensive lineup. And I think they're maybe not this year, but looking down the line here, they're going to have some young guys with some size and strength and speed that could maybe be guys on the next level you've seen from USC. Like you think about Leonard Williams out in Seattle, who's done it for a long time. Some big defensive tackles from USC who have been huge contributors in the NFL. Yeah, I think you're probably about maybe a couple of years out from seeing really high end defensive tackles coming out of USC.
Okay.
Anybody else got any Texans question for Shaun about this last season?
Well, I got another. I got another one. So, what did you think of Kalen Bullock last year? He came out of USC. What did you think of him?
Yeah, Kalen Bullock, man. I was super proud of Kalen and the year he had, man. Being a rookie out there and getting out there at USC. I think he struggled a little bit in finding kind of a defined role. We went through some defensive coordinator, changes with him. Always a super talented kid, obviously a great eye for, getting after the football, could always high point things as a safety. He had great, could get sideline to sideline with great speed. There were some concerns maybe, how he would tackle, but I think at the NFL level, he's done a great job, and D'Amico's done a good job of finding a role for him and how he can play football. And I think that just, the ceiling right now is the limit for him, how he wants to challenge himself and push his game, because like you said, he's got all the attributes, the length, the size, the strength. He can go sideline to sideline. So the kid can play ball. It's just figuring out how far he wants to take this thing, I think.
All right.
Yeah, in my opinion, I think he got snubbed. He didn't get no votes for the defensive player rookie of the year.
Yeah, how many interceptions did he finish with this year?
I want to say 4, right?
Yeah, that's a big year for a rookie.
Yeah, Kendall, you're on mute.
Yeah, he finished with 5.
Yeah, so yeah, five for a rookie, especially at the safety position. That's pretty good. I'm surprised they.
Yeah, and that was definitely one of his better attributes at USC was finding the ball, and that's that's a talent some guys have and some guys don't have. But Kalen has always been able to create turnovers and find those interceptions.
All right. Well, speaking of USC, how is it covering the Trojans?
Oh, I love it, guys. You guys remember, I started doing the media with Houston, and maybe a little bit before ahead of my time, but we were having fun on the internet shows with Drew Doherty and Nick Scurfield, and all the guys on the team would sometime oblige me and get on the show and have fun. But we were a little bit ahead of our time. Not a lot of that inside access to the locker room was happening at the time. But Gary Kubiak was an awesome coach, and decided to let us kind of do our thing. If we took care of our business on the field, we got to have fun off the field, and Gary was all about it. Those guys loved it, so he loved watching the episodes with us. But that was kind of what started the media thing for me. And then when I was done playing, I figured I could try to figure out what avenue I wanted to get into, and I reached out to USC, and they were obliging me and letting me come on and do some pre and post game stuff with them. And now I'm doing I call the game, I'm the analyst, and I do some post game and pre game stuff still. But it's been awesome for me to be in the media still, and just kind of cover the team, because I'm here. I grew up here in Southern California, and I went to school there, and it's fun to follow the school and know the guys. When you're not a part of it, sometimes you feel like you're out of the mix and you don't know what's going on with the team. But I definitely feel very connected still, and it's fun to. You mentioned Kalen Bullock. It's fun to follow those guys' careers as Trojans as they go on, especially to a team in the Houston Texans that I played with, and I can kind of follow his career. And it's fun to watch him.
Absolutely. So, no one's watching the games and calls. Is there any defensive tackles that you caught eye of you and the Texans should take a bid on?
Yeah. We saw some great D tackles this year. We saw Mason Graham there from Michigan. Is a good one. Kenneth Grant, his counterpoint at Michigan. Those are two guys we played early on in the season that created havoc against USC. The kid from Notre Dame, Riley Mills, was a big guy. I think he got hurt maybe later in the season at the end of the year, but he was a monster out there. The kid from Nebraska, Ty Robinson, was a good player. So we played some defensive tackles in the Big Ten this year that were some big guys. So there are some guys out there, I think, this year. I didn't really follow too much of the SEC. Predominantly, I'm just in the Big Ten. So those guys, there's some big defensive tackles out there. So they make some plays. We played some good defensive ends. Think about the kid from Penn State, Abdul Carter, was a stud this year. He came off the edge. He can fly. Just a bunch of guys. I think there are some guys out there that can definitely contribute on some NFL teams.
Okay. Well, Shaun.
Yeah, so you guys didn't think I knew shit about that, right? Look at me following through. Look at me.
No, we knew it. That's why we wanted you on here. Well, now we're going to talk about your career. You cool with that?
Oh shit! What? That was a long time ago. Let me think if I can even remember that shit.
No CTE here, right?
No, yeah.
You talk about on the nose. You ever thought about maybe a on the nose reunion with you and
Yeah. Well, we have a thread with guys on our text thread. It's with all the guys I used to play with, Connor and Antonio Smith, Who else is on there? Brian Cushing, all the Texans defenders. A lot of defenders are on there, so we have a good time. We still, mention that. I saw Connor a couple weeks ago. He's doing well in Philadelphia. But who I get after about it is really Drew Doherty. Drew is upstairs. He's the Texans, or the guy who's running the whole thing out there. But Drew was the guy who started on the nose. Him and Nick Scurfield got on the nose started, and sometimes, I told him, hey, when I come in town, man, we should do an episode, just have some fun. So we gotta start planning that for next year when I come out for one of those reunion games.
Yeah, we had Nick and Drew both on the show. Both friends of the show, very good guys. Especially Drew. He's always a hoot to have on. But yeah, the episode with you and Antonio Smith. Oh man,
Oh, the ninja! Come on, man! It
yeah.
didn't get any better than the ninja having fun. What kind of guys? No one has a sack dance as good as the ninja ever had, man. Doing the sack dance, he was whipping the sword out, man, running about 15 yards down the field. It was like the highlight of every game was when Antonio got a sack, man. Antonio was one of the classic characters I played with in the NFL, always having fun. Obviously JJ Watt was having fun. Also, our defense with under Wade Phillips and Bill Cole, our defensive line coach. Those were two great coaches to play under. They let us have fun, but we also, got after some people's asses out there on the field as the old Bulls on parade got to run around on defense out there. That was fun, man.
Okay, I'm gonna let the guys ask you a couple questions, but I gotta get your opinion on this, okay, Shaun? Yeah. Me and Crenshaw kind of had a debate yesterday, and I'm gonna get your opinion on it. Crenshaw says that TJ Watt has almost had the better career than JJ Watt. And here's the numbers to help you out. What's your thoughts on this?
Well, I watch TJ, on Sundays to get a chance opportunity sometimes, and he's super destructive out there on the end. I think, for me, JJ was just a guy you could put all over the line. You could put him, at the nose tackle to the defensive end out there on the outside. So I'll always have a warm spot in my heart for JJ Watt. I'm gonna have to side with JJ on the side of JJ Watt on this one because he was a disruptor, and I'm sure his brother took some lessons, and he imparted some lessons on his brother. But TJ's doing a hell of a job out there for the Steelers. He's super disruptive and has had a hell of a career there too. JJ got sidelined a little bit with some injuries, but still put together a Hall of Fame career, and I'm sure he'll be getting going in there pretty soon. But yeah, I would side on JJ Watt. He was a disruptive force for our defense and created a lot of havoc for us.
I still think to this day that he got robbed for the MVP.
Oh man, yeah, that was a hell of a season. He was scoring touchdowns that year. He was doing everything.
Led the league in pass deflection. Like, who leads the league in pass deflection as a lineman?
Oh, and the Dikembe finger wag that was fun too.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, well, Honcho, why don't you kick off a question for Mr. Shaun?
I got one for him, Sean. Nice to meet you anyway, brother.
You got it.
Quick question, man. So you see D'Amico running down sidelines, you know, cheering the fans on, cheering his team on. Do you still have that aspiration, man, to get out there on that field, man? Do you ever come to that moment where like, you're like, man, this is my moment. I can get out there still, and rekindle anything like that?
I would, you feel like that. When covering USC, I feel like that sometimes. Sometimes that little, thing pops in my head, like maybe I could still get out there and get after it, man. And then I'm sitting on the sidelines, and there's a collision, and there's like a tackle on the sideline. I'm like, oh shit, man, that looks like it hurts, man. So it's easy to say you could get out there and do it sometimes when you're watching on TV, but if you're a fan out there and you really think about getting on that field, man, go down on the sideline and try to listen to one of those collisions on tackles on the sideline, man. It'll really change your thought about how playing football out there. So it doesn't. Sometimes you watch it and you're like, oh, it's like easy, but it's a hell on earth sometimes when you're making those big hits and tackles and your body's getting all mashed out. You don't feel it at the time, but just coming from a 40-year-old guy who's been out of the league for about 10 years, those hits take a wearing on your ass.
Hey, man, you still got it. Like Crenshaw said, man, we a D tackle away, man.
Yeah, man. Always just one D tackle away, man. Earl Mitchell, man. Shout out Earl Mitchell, man. One of the best Texans, man. He's out there getting it. Get it, Earl.
All right, Kendall, what about you? Got one?
Sure, I got one. This is non-football related. But we're gonna talk about. I have a question about USC. guard from the women's basketball team. Juju, do you
Juju.
pay attention to the
Oh yeah.
basketball team?
Oh, no doubt. I got three daughters so at home. So I'm
Okay.
we definitely follow USC basketball, and Juju
I
Watkins is
feel
the
I feel your pain, Sean. I got 4 girls, so
the
I totally understand what you're going through.
yeah, girl dad ended up out here, man.
Yes,
So
sir.
yeah, we're big Juju Watkins fans. We've been to a few games. She's a she's awesome. Obviously, she's a tremendous talent. She can get it all done from any aspect of the court, but she's also awesome off the court. She does a lot of stuff in the community in LA. She's been a huge a spark for women's basketball, and my kids know who she is, and it's something I got to do is head out there in those basketball games because she puts on a show, man.
For sure.
She's a stud.
Okay. Texans D, Pat, you got a question for her?
Oh yeah, I got one for you, Sean. So looking at this Houston Texans defense, this past season, a lot of people, give comparisons to the old vintage Houston Texans defense with J.J. Watt and around that era. So I just wanted to know what's your thoughts about comparison as far as do you see any resemblance with this defense that we have? This young core with Will Anderson Jr. and Derek Stingley. Do you see any resemblance of what we had back then?
Yeah, you need those disruptors. I think, I look back on our defense, obviously, I think our creators on defense were JJ Watt and Antonio Smith. And when you have, some guys like that, you might need, like you guys have been talking about defensive tackles, find another defensive tackle. You find a guy like that who can create havoc in the backfield. And then you build, solid defenders around that. You have some guys that can create some big plays, but you need some core guys that are still running the defense, and obviously talented back end guys, and Stingley's definitely one of those guys. We had Jonathan Joseph and Kareem Jackson, uh, who are studs back there. And I don't know if Kareem Jackson, he's been playing for a million years, so I don't know if he's still doing it. But shout out Kareem, man. He was a great one. Yeah, we built it on I think those tenets. A lot of you need about, I'd say about 9, 10 guys. 8 guys doing their job on defense, staying in their gap, maintaining their responsibilities. But you definitely need those creators like a Will Anderson Jr., like a Antonio Smith, like a JJ Watt. You need those creators to create those big plays, knock the ball out, big sack, cause fumble, and anything it could be. But those you definitely need those big play guys.
Oh, Grimshaw, you got a question?
Yeah, I got 2 questions and a bonus question.
Boom,
But
3.
yeah, so 3 questions. So basically, it's not football related. Okay, one. Hello, y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hello. Okay, can you
Yeah.
hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So how did Super Agent come about?
Super
You
Age, holy
still jam
shit.
one? I know, right? Do you still jam 112? And since you out there in Cali, is it Kendrick or Drake for you?
Man, well, first off, we're going Kendrick all day.
There you go.
I mean, and the halftime show was top tier for me. We the whole family was having a good time with that. But we're definitely a Kendrick family. What was the second question?
I said, do you still jam 112?
Oh, 112 for sure. Yeah, when it's a Friday night after a dinner date with my girlfriend, we get that 112 going and put a couple candles on, fellas, and see where it goes from there.
Okay.
Little Cupid, put a little Cupid on,
Okay. Yeah.
and then and the Super Agent, man, that's going back there. That was the TV show for Spike I did, picking my agent, which was, we didn't win any Oscars or Emmy nominations for that, guys, but it was an experience coming out of college, being on TV here in LA, and getting to fool around picking an agent. And so definitely an experience. Don't know if I would recommend it for people, but it definitely happened. And I don't know if it's even circulated anywhere, but that's a Crenshaw, you got great knowledge on you did your homework today, bud.
Yeah, I had to do some homework.
Grimshaw is our reality TV buff. So
Okay.
reality TV, he's the guy. So
Well, I hope you didn't have to watch too many episodes of Super Agent, because that shit was not that good.
speaking of Spike, so they're talking about bringing back Joes versus Pros.
Oh
Do
yeah.
would you ever sign up to give it a go around?
Oh, I'd have to talk to my team of doctors before I kind of sign off on that. But Petros Papadakis used to host that show. He's a USC guy, so I'm all in. He's a big radio personality here in town. Does a bunch of media stuff, so I would be all for that because he's quite a character. He did it for a bunch of years. He hosted that show.
Yeah, it was great. I missed it, so I hope they get it done because that was A+ quality TV. So I got a question from my friend Jason. He wanted me to ask you who came up with the Letterman jackets idea, and why should we never ever use that again?
That's I thought. Well, so we beat New England this year, right? So it's the curse is over. Is that what I heard, or is that false? I don't remember. I don't. I thought I heard that we broke the final curse. But okay, so here's the Letterman jacket story. We were. It was basically a collaboration between me and Connor on. We were traveling to we're traveling in New England, and I don't know who dreamt it up. Maybe we were just sitting in the back of the bus talking shit probably, and it popped up, and then it started kind of rolling, kind of catching steam with the team. We started talking about it, and then we bought a guy who could design jackets and build them. So we're like, shit, might as well do it. And so we did it, and obviously got the outcomes we wanted to have for that game. We didn't know it was going to get as popular as it did. It was really just fucking having fun, and then we got our ass smoked that game. So then it looked double as bad. But I'm not a big superstition guy, so it never really affected me. But some people were. I'm sure the city of Houston doesn't remember those jackets fondly. But for the team, I'm sure a lot of those guys still have them because there were some dope ass jackets. They still look sweet as hell. Now I don't
Right.
know if you can wear them because the negative connotation that's attributed to them. But to me, it's still a sweet ass jacket. And, in LA, I can rock it because people are like, no big deal. But I don't think I'd wear that thing back in Houston, guys.
So you still have yours?
Was that?
You still have yours?
Oh, no question. That thing was fire, man. That thing was fire. If I had my camera working right now, I'd slap it on for you guys. But that's a good. We put some time into the design of that thing, man. We had the collars looking right. We had the colors were hand selected by Connor Barwin, the fashion guru. So we were looking right.
Yeah, I told my buddy, I was like, man, if they picked any other game than the New England game,
Yeah, exactly. We thought it would give us a little bump instead of maybe too much noise surrounding it, and we got our ass thumped. But once again, Tom Brady was pretty fucking good at the time, too, guys.
Yeah, I mean, he got what, 8 Super Bowls, 7 Super
Yeah,
Bowls?
yeah. I mean, if there was one challenge we had at the time, we couldn't get over the hump of Tom Brady, which a lot of teams couldn't.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. He's the GOAT for a reason, right?
Yeah.
Well, speaking of the GOAT, Andre Johnson just getting to the Hall of Fame. Most Texans fans love the beatdown of Cortland Finnegan. You were there for it.
Yeah.
Talk to me, Cody. Shaun, how was it?
It was just a awesome highlight of my career to be a part of Andre Johnson's beatdown of Cortland Finnegan and all that went into it. It was kind of happened over a couple of years. I remember just every time we played them, it was just like, what's going to happen here, man? These guys hate each other. Andre hates this guy. Something's going to happen here eventually. And eventually it broke out, and Andre, being the giant wide receiver he is, just kind of took it out on him. But yeah, a fun experience getting to be a part of Andre Johnson's career was, just a highlight of my career because the guy worked his ass off. Obviously, super talented, but a hard worker. Didn't talk a whole bunch. Just led by example. Was a quiet leader in the locker room, but just like you said, wasn't one of those prima donna guys that I'd been around some prima donna receivers in my career, and they're not great locker room guys. But Andre was also really a great locker room guy. Always worked hard, practiced hard, was great around the team. So just a pleasure to play with Andre Johnson, and then have him just knock Cortland Finnegan around the field like a little rag doll was quite awesome to just be a spectator and fan of.
Yeah, because like you said, he's soft spoken. You don't really hear much. So when you saw it happen, were you caught off guard?
No, I remember it was kind of building up because we had a little heated rivalry going back and forth, and they were kind of he was a talker, so he was always yapping on the sideline, so you could hear him, being at the wide receiver position and the cornerback position. They would be close to us on the sideline, so we could like watch and like hear as they went back and forth and talk shit. So it was like oh man, this is going to boil over pretty soon. And so when it happened, it was like, oh, that it would look like it was going to happen. So Cortland probably picked a fight with the wrong guy because I mean, Andre was jacked, man. He was always shredded and cut up, and I did not want to find him as a defensive tackle, and I don't think little scrawny little Cortland Finnegan should have fought him either.
Well, obviously, right? I mean, he should have trademarked Beats by Dre because he would have made a lot of money.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, that's not his favorite moment of his career. Because, yeah, like I said, not a bad player, Cortland Finnegan. He's out there. He can make some plays, but not a highlight when you're getting stomped out on the grass there.
Yeah. So, you said you get to play with Andre. You know, a lot of non-Texans fans are upset that he made the Hall of Fame. Well, what's your thoughts on it?
I mean, a guy who did it for that long, put up the numbers he did with quarterbacks that maybe weren't as didn't have the same kind of numbers that other quarterbacks and wide receiver combos had. He was able just to be Mr. Consistent. Never griped about his situation. He had some tough years. He had to battle through with a team that was just trying to figure out their roots and what they wanted to do with the Texans. So like I said, just a consummate professional. I think that speaks, coming from Miami with the Hurricanes and then having that career and then just coming to the NFL and doing nothing but working with quarterbacks that may have been under the level of some of these other guys wide receivers that have gone in. Is it speaks to just a testament of the man he is. He never complained about anything, just went to work every day. And I mean, the numbers are great still too. So it's anybody who has a gripe with Andre Johnson, man, they got to see a lot of people because he was, I think, a really a guy who really deserved all he gets because, like I said, as a teammate, getting to see him do it day in and day out and never complain or bitch about anything was awesome to watch.
Okay. And then I'm gonna ask one more question, and I'll send it off to the guys. Uh, Most of us hate the Tennessee Titans because of the bad blood. Did that translate to the players, or it was just another game?
No, there was definitely I didn't really know about it coming from Detroit when I was with the Lions. I didn't know that there was a rivalry there, but I definitely when I got to Houston and Gary, we were playing them the Titans and Gary Kubiak got up and during those game weeks, you could tell immediately like on a Monday when we were playing the Titans, it was ratcheted up a little bit, and the tenacity and the fire was there because I wasn't really, like I said, privy to the history of it, and I didn't really know, but I was like, oh shit, man, Kubiak's fired up this week. The guys seem pretty fired up this week, so it was definitely a rivalry game, and we look forward to trying to get the best of those guys.
Okay. All right, fellas, y'all got some more questions for him?
I got one, man.
Go ahead.
So, real quick, man. I'm gonna revert back to my boy Crenshaw real quick. He thinks we're a DT away.
Yeah.
I think we're a couple guards away. So, what is your opinion on how far are we, man? And us as fans, man, we get the trash talk.
Yeah.
Texans being 0-6, division around, and where do you think we at, man? And how can we get over the hump?
Well, as a defender, I'm always going to side on this. I think you would add defensively and create on that side of the ball. Obviously, for me, you're talking to an old defensive tackle here, so I hate guards. So guard play for me is I always thought guards were just a waste of space out there. They're guys that can't play. They put them at guard. That's what guards are. So that's my take on the guard position. They're guys and just big bodies in the middle. But I'm just joking. But those guys are. I would definitely. I think the Texans, they got to figure some things out offensively, and that's in this league now. It's so geared towards offense that you have to be equipped enough offensively. You have to be more than just a team that can control the ball. You got to put points on the board in today's NFL. It's a little different than when I played. You could be a little more, I think, ground and pound offensively, and then play great defense and win some championships. Now I think it's a team where your quarterback plays got to be elite. Your wide receiver game has to, and you got to put some points up. So they got to score some points, and they got to keep that same level of defense, if not ratchet it up. Will Anderson's got to take that next step. Talk about Stingley; those guys got to take that next step on defense, and then offensively got to be able to put some points up. Got to see some growth from the quarterback. So yeah, and you definitely need to protect them. I think you mentioned guards. You got to do a better job of protecting them, make them feel comfortable back there because you don't want to have a quarterback situation. I've watched, got to watch Caleb Williams this year, coming out of SC. I watched him with the Bears and really struggled because, just didn't have the time and had to, try to create too much. And you really want to see the ball come out of those guys' hands quickly now. You don't want to see those guys hold on the ball forever. Yeah, they can create, but in those situations, you want to, I think, limit those situations in a game where they can create. Those are kind of like, 5 or 6 of those plays a game. If you're getting over, 5 plays where they're having to create stuff, you see defenses really capitalize. And so, I think that's kind of the state of the Texans, and I think you're in good hands with D'Amico Ryans because he's a sharp guy, knows football, knows the guys he wants to surround his team with, and get him in the right position.
Sure.
Anybody else?
I actually got one more.
Go ahead.
So
Don't be quiet, not close. Come on.
no. So I'm a big fan of Gary Kubiak, man. So how is his influence? Basically what I'm trying to ask, was he more on the offensive side, on the defensive side? Was he checking you guys out, checking the offense side? How is his influence in that room, man?
Gary Kubiak was one of my favorite coaches I ever played for. Although he was an offensive coach, he felt like he was everyone's coach. He was a part of the defensive room. But he gave Wade Phillips, Frank Bush, he gave those guys room to, do their thing. But also you knew that, Gary, I was proud to say that Gary Kubiak was my head coach because, even though he was an offensive guy, he pulled for us. He knew that he needed a good defense to win football games in the style of fashion of football he wanted to play with, Arian Foster toting the pill and then the play action off the zone, getting the big plays. He knew he needed a good defense, and he played some ball control with Arian and kind of time of possession was big. So I couldn't speak more highly of Gary Kubiak. He was great. In every meeting I ever went to, he was well prepared. He had the team focused. He had us, he had a message for us every day. He not only did I grow as maybe a football player, but probably as a human being under him because he was a great man and a great leader of men. And I couldn't say any more better words about Gary Kubiak. I anytime I'm in Houston, I try to look out where I think he's got a ranch out there somewhere. I'm trying to get out and see Gary. I was able to one of our D line coaches, Bill Kolar, another classic NFL coach, retired a few years back, and Gary was there, and I got to talk to him and Wade Phillips for a while, and just told him I was just lucky to play for those guys because those are true ball coaches who really had your back, and I was happy when when Gary got to go to Denver and win a championship there. I couldn't be more ecstatic for him because, like I said, just a great man and a great head ball coach.
Yeah, I mean, it did hurt a little bit seeing him win one in Denver because it wasn't with Houston, but
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, because Antonio went with him too. Antonio Smith was out there with him, so we were like, "Damn, that son of a bitch! He got out there. They got a Super Bowl."
Yeah,
OD, yeah.
Yeah, they a couple of Texans players went with them.
Yeah.
So it was good to see him win a ring. Crenshaw, Kendall, y'all got any more questions?
I have one quick question. So as far as for the Texans Ring of Honor, we have Andre Johnson and we also have JJ. Who retired former Texans player do you think deserve to be in there next?
So if I'm just looking at my era, I would say Arian Foster offensively. Arian was a dog for us, and I always wanted, if I was on the sideline, it was, hey, give the ball to Arian or throw it to Andre. That's who we were cheering for. But definitely Arian, and then defensively, um, obviously JJ, but he's up there already. I loves playing with Antonio. Brian Cushing would be fun. He's still a Houston guy. He loves being out there in Houston. So maybe Brian. Those are some of the guys I play with. So I don't know. I didn't really. It's hard to follow every Sunday what's going on now with the Texans. But those guys are all timers for me in the Texans outfit.
Okay. Crenshaw got some more Texans. D, y'all got some more?
No, not at the moment. Not at the moment.
Yeah, not at the moment right now, bro. I'm good.
Well, I got one, Sean, before we send you out. You
Yeah.
said y'all are a Kendrick family. So I got another comparison. Who do you choose, either Kendrick or Bobby Fino?
Bobby, Bobby Fino, man. I enjoy Arian's music, man. Arian was always an eclectic figure, and I really appreciated that about him because he could, he was someone who was obviously he could just be himself, and I really appreciate that because a lot of times you get into these masculine locker rooms in the NFL, and you got to be act a certain way, and Arian really just was himself. He didn't care what anybody thought. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna play football. So I always appreciated that about Arian. I thought he had a great sense of humor, so he was great on our episodes of On the Nose. I always enjoyed him. He was comedy, so and it's good to see he's having a killer career postseason with doing media stuff, and he's fun to watch. And I'll DM him sometimes some dumb shit, and he'll respond. So it's he's always a good character, and I appreciate that about him. Bobby Fino, we're waiting for that next album to drop. Bobby Fino.
Speaking of Bobby Peter, there's a couple him and a couple other players come out to saying that the NFL is scripted. What's your thoughts? You think it's scripted, or is it too much variables to make that happen?
Now I said that. I also said, Eric could say whatever he wanted. He was a
Right.
different dude, but it doesn't mean all the shit he said is true. Sometimes he's full of shit too. So it's
Mhm.
I don't know about the NFL script. There's a lot of things you have to get in concert to script 22 guys flying around trying to make plays, and in order to for that to happen. So yeah, Arian, he knows a lot of shit, but sometimes he makes up some shit too.
And, and one more question from me, and I'll let you go. You're a girl's dad, like I am. I live up here in the Chiefs Kingdom, so sadly, all my girls are Chiefs fans. They're big Taylor Swift fans. So, as a girl dad, do you think Taylor Swift gets too much hate?
Yeah, I didn't even know. I wasn't even aware that she got hate. My girls love her too. So I wasn't aware of all this till they told me, and I was like, I thought she sounds like a nice young lady to me. I don't know. I'm a big Kelsey fan, so I like the Kelsey brothers. Those guys are good guys. So whatever they got going, they seem like nice people. I don't know. I have no idea about Taylor Swift. Maybe she's awful. Maybe she's a fantastic human being. Well, we don't know who she is.
Right. Well, that'd be a great episode on the nose. Is you and the Kelsey brothers?
Yeah, tell them up. Tell them I'm available. I know Jason and Travis a while now because Connor's good friends with he played with Philadelphia with Jason, so we've hung on a few occasions, and they're great guys. Just dudes. You know what I mean? They're not fake. They just are who they are, and I think that's why people enjoy them because they're just real people, man. They don't give a shit about how they're supposed to act. They just are who they are, and that's real. So with people, and I think it speaks to people because sometimes you think about these guys, celebrities, and there's it's come across as phony sometimes, and you think about Kendrick and Drake, and maybe that's the reason people like Kendrick. But you gotta
Wow.
you like these real ones out here. So get shout out to the Kelsey guys doing their thing.
Okay. All right, fellas. Before we send out Mr. Cody, anybody got any last questions for him?
I don't have any questions, man, but I appreciate you joining the show, man. It's nice talking with you, brother.
Definitely appreciate your time, man, and great stories. Great stories.
Yeah, yes, yeah, same here. Yeah, one more question. The high school you came out of, is that piece of place still around there? I think is it damn, it was a good piece of place around that high school. Is it Velvet Turtle or something like that?
I don't know, man. I'm a little bit away from my hometown, but me and my brother own a pizza place now, so we're doing pizza now also. So you should
What's
try
the
to check
name
out
of it? So
that
I can stop by.
Pie Trap Pizza out in Covina, man. Come check us out. You catch me in there with my Houston Texans hat on, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man.
Always repping. That's
Got
fantastic.
to, man. Man, you might see me with a Letterman jacket. Shit, you never know.
we won't boo you for you. All right. Well, Sean, like the fellow said, thanks for coming on because it's been a blast. We were all pumped for this one. Why don't you tell everybody where we can find you on social media and what you got cooking, so that way we can support you.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm on Instagram at Shaun Cody something numbers. I don't know, one of them. You can find me on there. Just type me in there. I'm sure you'll find it around. I do some of that. I'm doing pizza with my brother. I said Pie Trap Pizza. We got a little following here in LA. And then I do radio for USC. I cover the football team doing analyst work there. So you can catch me on Saturdays during the college football season doing that. And then other than that, I'll be girl dadding it up. I'll be at volleyball, softball, acting, whatever you got for as a girl dad. So that's how I'm staying busy. Appreciate you guys for reaching out and letting an old has-been like me talk about the old glory days of the Texans, man. It's been fun, guys, and I'm it's awesome what you guys are doing because you get to connect with the fans and let them know what's going on with the team. And I always appreciated all the podcasts and the media support because as much as the guys might not hear it, they say they hear it. They're listening, man. They want to make you guys proud and make the fans proud because deep down, that's what it's about. It's about repping the city and city of Houston, who's overdoing for a great Super Bowl champion. So let's go Texans, man! In 2025, let's do it.
Yes, sir. And we're going to have your former teammate on in a couple of weeks. We're going to have Ben Tate on.
Oh yeah, Big Ben Tate, man, classy. He was him, and it wasn't for Ben Tate. Arian Foster, those holes would be a little smaller if it wasn't for Ben Tate.
We'll make sure you say hello. But
all right.
Till then, Shaun, have a good week. Hopefully we see you again. Okay.
Thanks, guys.
Yes, sir.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
All right, fellas. Just like Shaun said, where can we find you? What you got cooking up? Where can we support you? I'll start you off with you, Honcho.
Honcho Johnny, man. Like I said, I just recently got on Twitter, man, at H-Town Honcho 713. You can find me on there. Instagram, Honcho Johnny. Same thing as Facebook, man. Honcho Johnny, man. I'm everywhere. Appreciate you.
All right. And what about you, Mr. Crenshaw?
Find me at Fifth Ward Crenshaw everywhere, all day, every day.
Yes, sir. And then the number one Drake fan. I'm sorry. The number one Kendrick fan, Mr. Texan T. Where can we find you?
Yeah, man. Y'all can check me out on Twitter, X, also on TikTok, Texans TTV. And while y'all out, man, y'all go on Apple Music, Spotify, all your platforms. And y'all go download that new Drake and Party Next Door, Some Sexy Songs.
Man, hold up,
hottest
bro.
stuff.
I thought you were going to promote yourself. I'm ready to go lock in. You know what I'm saying?
I was too. I'm throwing out and everything. Oh, man. Jokes on. All right, Keno, where can we hear you at?
Yeah, y'all can follow me on YouTube, Twitter at Head Karen Out. And yes, sir, go Texans. Y'all continue to stream the Swarm song, you know what I'm saying? I know it's the off season, man, but y'all could, you know what I'm saying? So it's a H-Town thing. It's a H-Town Texans anthem. So you know what I'm saying? Keep bumping that thing and go Texans.
Yeah, for sure. And also in a couple of weeks, be on the lookout for. We got some new content coming out. We got Texans here came out. We got Crenshaw's contentions. We got Tea Time with Texans Tea. And then we got Honcho's Hunch. So make sure y'all check those out. There's going to be some good ones. And you're also, I'm bringing back Cooking with Chef Briggs. So it's going to be great content. Rock with us. I'm telling you, it's going to be fun. Next week, we'll have Jonathan Alexander, writes for the Texans. So we've got a lot of questions for him. So make sure you subscribe so that way you can watch it. Till next week, stay blessed. Go Texans. And we'll see you then.
I'ma calm down, won't chop it up. There's an H-Town anthem, so we gotta slow it up.
This the best podcast known to man. We been raw. You heard it here first from Keno and Fifth Ward Crenshaw.